Where is Rytis?
Where is Rytis?
You promised me Rytis.
I don't know, man. I promised him because I saw that our views, ratings, everything, they're all-time low. So I thought that this is our last only hope, to increase the number of views and stuff.
This will only, there will be more and more speculations about Rytis. Like we promised him, he's not here. It's going to be like situation with Joe Biden right now.
To be honest with you, I haven't seen him like live for 2 months, I guess.
You've heard him commentating.
I saw him tweeting about stuff.
But hey, anybody could use his
account. Be honest with you,
how can a man hide away from the fact that the kings of Europe are green for so long? I don't understand.
Yeah, 7 titles, man. It's
anyways.
Yeah, he's basketball podcasting Kawhi, I would say. Or Tim Duncan, more or less. No, but he's more active.
No. Kawhi was a good one.
Yeah,
I think Kawhi is a very good comparison.
Yeah, but it's not. This podcast is not about Rytis, guys. So,
no.
And this podcast today is not going to be about Panathinaikos. With all the respect. This podcast is for the Olympic basketball tournament that I dare to say is going to be probably the strongest ever. Thank you, Gytis, for helping out with the electricity and stuff. I mean, a lot of great teams, a lot of stars. And since I've mentioned stars, I did, let's say, a little research, and the Paris Olympics will feature exceptional number of NBA talents not seen in 28 years. So Paris will feature 12 All-NBA players from this season, from first, second, and third teams. And this number ties the all-time high with the Atlanta Olympics, which also featured 12 All-NBA players. The difference is that we have All-NBA players from 4 different teams. MVP, this tournament will have six last MVPs of the NBA. We will have the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, even the Clutch Player of the Year with Steph Curry. So a lot of stars, a lot of strong teams. And even though Team USA probably got their, second or third best ever national team for the Olympic tournament, it's not going to be a highway for them to win the gold medal. So I'm really excited about this part, guys, because we're going to do a power ranking of Paris Olympics. So we will list all 12 teams. We will start from number 1 team, just not to expand too much with the bottom teams. I don't know, how do you feel about the competition, which tips off in 3 days? It's crazy. And we will start from Australia and Spain. We will be able to watch all games. Games won't be clashing each other. So I don't know, I'm super excited about the event. Even though Lithuania won't be there in Paris, I will be one of the happiest guys in the gym to witness all this talent and greatness.
Yeah. You want to start?
To comparison, why I'm hyped. Dream Team in 1992 faced 9 players, NBA players in the Olympics. This year is going to be 36, and even more former players. With the former players, I think is 61 the number. And it's going to be super stacked. I'm super hyped. And talking about our power ranking, I see 3 clear tiers. Best teams, middle teams, the bottom teams. But just I don't remember when it was the last time I was so hyped about this tournament. And the big part of this is all these friendly games that we saw. Team USA have had a lot of strong opponents just because there are not a lot of national teams that are actually together for this summer, because there are only 12 teams participating. So you have friendly games, like kind of a preview of what we will see in the Olympics. All of that is on YouTube. So you don't need to where is this stream that I can watch?
In some countries it's not available, but whatever.
But on YouTube, at least in Lithuania here, you could find all the USA friendlies. Team France with Wemby, there was also on YouTube. So it was super easy to watch, and that got me excited. And so I don't know. I'm really hyped, and this first day on Saturday is going to be just amazing, really.
Yeah. I mean, you said all the right things already. I'm not gonna repeat the same things, but
are you excited?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not. I didn't have the best sleep, so
Yeah,
at the
I can
moment,
see because I can see that excitement on your face. To be honest with you,
yeah, a little.
Hey, they
Okay.
don't.
What is this
Let's start
energy,
the
man?
podcast now, all right?
Do they sponsor us?
No. I want to talk about this power ranking. How do you guys see a power ranking? Is it about the
First of
last
all,
friendly games?
It's not about the predictions.
It's not about
this
the
is
final
something
standings,
that we
right?
Europeans get confused about because a lot of people think that it's the prediction for the Olympic tournament. No, it's not. But we kind of try to build a picture of teams, trying to list them, which is the strongest. And in my personal perspective, it was based on the roster fit, preparation stage. Maybe some previous campaigns. There are some teams that were successful before. So it was a big combination of, I would say, objective perspectives, but also my personal feelings about the team, if I like the way they played or not, if I have some concerns about these teams. So that was just a puzzle of a lot of different pieces.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's not like, I have 4 teams from Group A.
Exactly. I was gonna say this. Yeah,
in the top 7. That is not going to be the final result. So I'm not obviously predicting that.
Yeah.
It's just how I see the strength of this team heading into the tournament, and it is not a prediction of the overall plays because there will be the groups, there will be brackets, and we might give little predictions talking about each of these teams, but it's just the power ranking is not a prediction.
Yeah, and not only it's hard to predict what's gonna happen in the groups and the 2/3 best places that are gonna advance, but after that we have a random draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we get there, we cannot really predict anything. So yeah, we're I guess evaluating all those things that you just said, and regardless of their final positions.
But guys, please surprise me with your number 1 pick in your power ranking.
Now, before we start, I think let's talk to our fans, and we want to hear the power rankings in the comment section, because if we do this at the end of the podcast, probably not a lot of people are going to listen after the 12th place, after we talk about Japan. So before we go talking about Team USA in the first place, I'm not going to surprise anyone. But
and let us know how wrong we were on your favorite teams or on your national teams. That's something we're also eager to hear.
Either are we wrong about Greece or no, basically, or Serbia?
And Serbia. Basically, it's about two teams.
And Team
Greece
USA. And Team USA. But number 1, do you guys have
one, right?
Team
USA?
Team
USA? It's in a different tier, I think. I think USA is in one tier. Then we have other 3 teams. No, you don't think so?
To me, no.
You don't see it like that?
No. I mean, great team, super strong team, super, players that have been faces of the NBA for such a long time. And I'm so happy, and a part of why I'm so excited is just to see LeBron and Steph playing together. If KD joins, he will miss the first game, but later they are super strong. But to me, they have clear weak spots. And they have been together for a short time. Offensively, they really rely a lot on one-on-one basketball. I don't see a lot of great team work. And to make a good example of this, like Team USA after the timeout, when Steve Kerr designs a play, is beautiful to watch. Like they execute, they know what to do, where to run, where to cut, where to set the screen. But when they get into this, I would say a little bit of chaos, after a rebound, you try to go in the transition, it doesn't work. Then I see them being stuck. We don't really know what to do. We are not comfortable with each other. We are just passing the ball around. You try one-on-one, I try one-on-one. And since they have a lot of talent, this might work. But when, all I'm saying is that there are some teams that have excellent offensive let's say, systems that can actually match them in those weak spots. So I really have I would say 3 or 4 teams in my,
in the top
tier.
list.
I have USA
None of us were considering. Were you considering, guys, to put any other team at 1 before USA?
Germany or Canada.
Okay. But were you considering seriously, or you were just trying to? If I want to be a little bit edgy, I'll put it there. Or was this an actual?
It was an actual thought, but
Okay.
it ended up, it's still LeBron, it's still Steph, it's still Anthony Edwards. So I just couldn't go. If I wanted to be more spicy and do it more for the content, I would have gone either Canada or Germany.
If you wanted to be spicy, you could have put Serbia. Then it would have been spicy, and this one would have boosted our podcast. But I don't agree with you. To me, they're like at this top superior tier
Level
list
of their own.
because you cannot expect some team basketball finesse in their game because it's impossible for them to have any kind of continuity from the previous competitions. But that's how it goes with these good Team USA teams. They kind of develop this chemistry on the court, and they show more of a team basketball at the last stages of the competition. You can remember a lot of, especially in the last couple of Olympics in Tokyo, they lost the first game against France. I mean, they're always good at ISO, at fast breaks, athleticism. That's something that boosts them up for the start, but later on, they start figuring it out. So I guess that, especially watching these friendly games, it's kind of, sluggish basketball if you try to find some good quality team basketball. But like for the semis or for the finals, I think that we will witness really, really great and quality Team USA basketball. I mean, I cannot put them into the same tier list with the other teams. In the last competition, the World Cup, because the talent level was different. But this team is just, it's impossible to match them in my eyes, and talent-wise. And with some time, they will be better on the court. They will show more quality. So I don't have a lot of concerns. I don't have any concerns about their game in the exhibition games. Even this South Sudan almost a loss didn't shock me. They also lost the game against Nigeria before Tokyo Olympics. It doesn't say anything. Nigeria didn't even qualify to the next stage that time. So I don't know. I think that they're good. They're not unbeatable in my eyes because of the strength of the other teams that we have, but they're really solid.
Yeah.
So we said it's going to be a power ranking, but you're basically, what you just said is kind of predicting that Team USA.
No. I'm just saying that wins. You kind of don't see, a good team basketball yet. But this is something that I think that was always the case, and they will improve on that part at the later stages of the competitions.
It's true. Like usually with Team USA, and for most of the time, you see the same strengths and you see the same weaknesses because that's just the way they play. That's their habits in the NBA. They bring over these habits, to FIBA basketball, and they don't really have time. It's not enough time for them to break those habits, I would say. So teams just know how to punish them, and it's going to be up for them to lose, those games. Like I mentioned even in my video about them, it's going to take one hell of a game from the other team. And an off night. Kind of an off night from the NBA from the Team USA.
I thought as well. Like we saw both versions of that Team USA in those two last games of the exhibition games. They had South Sudan and Germany. First version, South Sudan got caught off guard. Didn't expect such competition from the other team. I think we all didn't expect that, and we saw a lot of panic. We saw a lot of chaos on the court, and perhaps questioning, what are we doing here on offense? What are we doing on defense? That we cannot stop this team. And then we saw a very, very different team. And actually, LeBron said that, after the South Sudan almost loss, that this came at the right time. We learned from this more than from a win. But, it was a win, but we needed this now. And we saw the next game against Germany. They came out determined, laser focused, and I feel like the attitude is going to be the main question for them, because we know they got the talent. Tactically, I mean, you probably could talk about that a little bit more. Maybe they're lacking a little bit in some sense. What you said about after timeout plays is fine, but then when they're in their half-court offense, sometimes
it's more about, players running organized offense
Yeah.
or not. When it's organized from the coaches, when it's organized from the players, it's way better. But when it's this in the half court, especially, but when it's like you play now, you play, it's harder because teams can adapt their defense.
And it's also their sort of style of they have to get the ball a little bit. Every guy who likes to score 30 a night in the NBA needs to get the ball, get their shots off. But I feel like they'll eventually get to their roles, like those teams in 2012 and 2008 did. Kobe, LeBron was there, Carmelo was there, but 15 points a game, everyone a little bit of time with the ball, it was fine. So. Yeah, I think their biggest opponent, this is going to be the least original phrase ever, but their biggest opponent is themselves in this tournament. And
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, well, he's playing for France, but undercover, you know what I mean?
Cameroon.
But Cameroon's not competing here. But anyways, we got this clear that
just few stats. They won all 5 friendlies. Their top 5 scorers on the team were LeBron James, 14.6 points, Anthony Edwards, 13, Steph Curry, 12.4, Anthony Davis, 11.8, and also 9.8 rebounds per game, and Joel Embiid, 10.4 points per game.
What the hell? Did you guys see this? Genome is giving away 2 tickets to the Olympic Games?
Did you know about the costs of those tickets?
You told me
We're
last
talking
time.
about thousands of euros, and they're giving away 2 tickets
For the bronze medal game on August 10th. But
we only
need
have
to
4
act
days
fast.
now. Yeah,
Exactly.
4 days left from today when we are releasing this on Wednesday. In 4 days, this whole thing expires. What you need to do is to get to genome.eu. Actually, the link is in the description or in the pinned comment. And once you get there, you need to register. If you have a business, you just need to open an account and make one transfer of 1,000 euros, I believe. And you are then in the run for this giveaway for 2 tickets to the bronze medal game. And
it's also, the app is not great only because of the tickets giveaway.
Yeah,
it is,
for sure.
Trusted electronic money institution providing customized financial solutions to businesses across Europe. So, it's not only about winning these tickets. And
it's also about improving your business game.
Exactly. And you already know that with Japan. but it's not it. Just we want to mention again that you need to do this before July 28th.
Oh, yeah.
To actually
one more time. Reiterate
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
July 28th.
Register
business
in
account. You can do a personal account, but for this specific thing, I'm saying in Genome, you can have a personal account for your financials, but for this thing, business account, 1,000 euros is not really that much for 2 tickets. And this is just a transfer you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend them.
Yeah. It's like
by July 28th, register in Genome, verify your data, request account details to make international money transfers, make at least one money transfer in currency other than euros for an amount not less than 1,000 euros, and you will be able to win these tickets.
Description, pinned comment.
The next one.
That's where it gets interesting, because the 2, 3, and 4 for me toss up.
Same tier list. I
didn't know what to do here. So
So why did you put this team second?
Because they were first last year. That's my answer. That's why I put Germany at number 2.
Love Germany.
Do you have them at 2?
Gotta give them the respect.
No? Okay, let's go.
You got them at 2,
No.
so
I got them, but you start.
okay. So well, I just gave the respect to the world champions first of all.
The real world champs.
The real world champs.
The real ones.
Although I said in that preview that's coming out today of the Olympic Games, I said they're my dark horse. Now I'm ranking them second. So it's a bit stupid, right? Like it's ridiculous.
But as I told you, like when you think of basketball elite, even though Germany have just won World Cup, it just doesn't sound right because of the history, what's happened before. So it'll take time, I think, for us to get used to Germany being on the top.
And it's not even about, like they don't have the talent of, I don't know, like there's teams like Canada with 10 NBA players. There's teams like, who has 8? I think Australia has 8, if I'm not mistaken. France has 4, I think. Well, anyways, Germany has only 4 players in the NBA currently playing. And it's not about that for me. It's not about talent as much as it is about the system they have that the coach has implemented in the last few years. That it was successful, and all the off-ball movement, catching Team USA with all those off-ball screens and all that you did a bunch of breakdowns last year. So this is I'm valuing continuity basically. I'm valuing the fact that France has stepped another step forward in his NBA season, and it seems like with the national team now, he's the main go-to guy. At least, I mean, it's Dennis and him, but he's now scoring the most points, at least in the friendly games. So I don't know. I like everything about them so far, and I don't see why you could rate them. I mean, like I said, it's a toss-up.
You see why, because it's the same tier list, so it's just a matter of like...
It is a matter
of preference. My mood that I wake up this morning, basically.
Yeah.
Or what do you prefer? Which...
Yeah.
I don't really actually care, about my second, third, or fourth seed, and the list of order. So because, especially also, because I love all these teams.
Just add one more thing why I put them over others.
You can, yeah.
Because I think in their group they're the clear favorites. I mean, we got France there, but I feel like they're the clear favorites of that group, and the other 2 teams are not gonna be as competitive when you compare with other groups what they have. So that's why I feel like they're gonna come out of that group undefeated. And I feel like they're going to be confident and they're going to have a good option in their quarterfinals, and that they might go far. That's why I also value them so high compared to other teams that we're going to talk about later.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I have Germany as well as my second team. They are the world champions. I think they are a team... you mentioned they don't have the most talent, if we're looking at the numbers like players NBA, from the NBA. But I think this team just fits perfectly together. Like, they have so much offensive versatility. I've talked about in my breakdown that was uploaded today to our channel, so make sure to check that out if you haven't. And just, going over that pretty quickly. Like, you have Dennis, who is a driver, scorer, makes others better. You have Franz Wagner, who can do it all, basically. Can score, has size, footwork, transition, can
doesn't need the ball sometimes.
Guys. Yeah. Doesn't need the ball so much. You have Andy Obst for offensive versatility. Shooter, just needs one screen, and you could see against Team USA in the friendlies. They're running in a transition, and some, like Mo Wagner, just knows that Obst is already in the corner. He's like, go up. And like Steph Curry is guarding Andy Obst. Like, he knows how much movement he does on the court, but still he's not ready for that offensively. And then you have shooting at the big spots to stretch the floor. Those bigs can punish you inside if you switch, what Team USA did. So they just basically have every weapon available to them in basketball. And that continuity from last year, I think, is what makes them super dangerous. So I think the question with Germany is, can you outscore them? And to me, I was thinking between Canada and Germany for the second place. And I really think if they play against one another, it's a super close game, and maybe Canada, because of their defense, might prevail. But if we're talking about the whole tournament, I just pick Germany's team chemistry and offense for the second place.
Yeah, it feels like that every player fulfills their role to their maximum. Every player has a clear, specific role, and it's such a nice, beautiful mash of all these roles, clear leaders. And Dennis Schroeder, although Franz Wagner maybe is a top scorer and Dennis Schroeder was the MVP, but you cannot say that's, it's a clear number 1 or number 2, but they share these roles, they accept those roles, so great. And their journey started not just last year, their journey started in the 2022 Eurobasket. So the continuity is all-time high, because you see the list of their top scorers in the friendly games, you see the stats, and basically you have the same the same numbers. Franz Wagner, top scorer, 19 points. Dennis Schroeder, 16. And probably a lot of assists, 6 assists per game. Daniel Theis, 12 points. And 6 rebounds. Andy Obst, Moiris Wagner, Maudolo, Voigtman, who's playing big minutes as well and playing an important role. But it's not only about points. Isaac Bonga, playing this huge role defensively and spending a lot of minutes on the court. It's basically completely the same core with just, as you mentioned, Franz Wagner stepping up his game in the NBA. You can have some concerns about Daniel Theis, some other guys who maybe weren't playing at that same level last season, especially in Europe, but they're going to be great. And the reason why I didn't have them as my number 2 pick was because I just thought that I like Canada more, and I think that they have more star level talent, and that's one of the most intriguing things. They didn't face each other in the World Cup, so that would have been an amazing game. Although I would pick Canada because they have the best point guard in the competition. Just like Germany, they have a clear hierarchy on the team that showed significant results already last year.
Yep.
They clicked together so well, both on and off the court last season. And I remember, I was talking with the guy who followed both Team USA and Canada last year, and especially before the World Cup. And he said that I prefer Team Canada because, they fit together so well. They somehow managed to build this chemistry so quickly that it's just beautiful to watch them. And I love the way they're built, with Shea as a clear number 1 guy, RJ Barrett, the secondary scorer on your team, Dylan Brooks, lockdown defender. I think that Kelly Olynyk and Dwight Powell, they're great bigs for FIBA basketball. And all these bench players, okay, they don't have the same depth as Team USA, but they're deep enough for FIBA 2-week competition to test Team USA and maybe to have a chance to win the game because of the chemistry, because of the team basketball, because of the defensive capabilities that they managed to build this these fundamentals in the last year's World Cup. So I have them as my number 2.
And then you have Germany at 3.
4.
At 4. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Because in this tier list, in this group of Canada, Germany, and Serbia, I picked Serbia because they have
as 3.
Currently, Serbia is my number 3.
I have them as 3 as well.
Because
so
they have currently
4.
the best player in the world. Mm-hmm. So you cannot go wrong with that. I loved the way they played already in the last year's World Cup, and they were missing Nikola Jokic. I think that's a huge game changer.
Are we now talking about Serbia, or because this is about these power ranking?
We
podcasts.
skipped like Canada a little bit.
Yeah.
You can continue on Canada. Yeah.
I mean,
what's the
number
thing?
3?
I have number 3 Canada.
I have them at 4 and Serbia at 3. So we just have it
Germany
swapped.
And Canada.
Canada swapped. Yeah.
Let's talk about a little bit more about Canada.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Jamal Murray?
He played the last game, 6 minutes.
He played 6 minutes.
Yeah. So he's getting warmed up. I feel like he's registered for the team's roster already.
But don't you think like he hasn't played for the team last year? Mm-hmm. So if everything is well with your health, you would be playing a lot more minutes in the friendlies to get used to your role.
Yeah, but it was everything well with his health? That's the point.
That's my question.
I wouldn't be surprised if he will be there only to support his guys, and he won't interrupt the flow that they managed to build last season.
I mean, look, even if he's not playing, I still think they're a really great team. We saw that last year, and just because of the hierarchy that you mentioned, you have Shea, clear leader, you have secondary ball handler in RJ Barrett, then you have excellent defenders who can also score a little bit, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort.
Lou Dort.
You have similar things to what Germany has. So you have bigs that can stretch the floor, can drive the closeout. So you have different options. You open the court for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and they have some great coaching, some elite coaching. So I think they are. I was, to me, this between this discussion between Germany and Canada was just basically who I prefer more, and I just love seeing Germany's offense, so that's why I put them at the 2. But as I mentioned, to me, both of those teams have very, very great chances of reaching the medals, and even trying to beat Team USA. So
I don't know. I feel like we overrating last year's performance a little bit just based on the final standings that they finished in. Let's remember they lost against Brazil. Let's remember they had a close game against Spain. The quarterfinal against Slovenia wasn't a cakewalk either, and they lost against Serbia in the semifinals. And I feel like Jamal Murray or not, this team wasn't this clear number. I mean, Shea was outstanding, right? But
Dylan Brooks was outstanding.
And Dylan Brooks was outstanding in certain games.
He shut down Luka and he was shooting threes like crazy.
Yeah.
And I think he changed the perspective the way he was recognized in the NBA world. I mean, because he was known as a villain, but in Canada and Team Canada, and what was also emphasized a lot, that he's actually a great teammate. He's a great guy. He's a very dedicated player on your team, and I think the way he performed, changed the whole perspective about him in States.
But for me, it's weird that you put them over Germany just because, I don't know, they finished 3rd last year.
No, just because they're more talented as individuals, and they also showed a lot of quality in year 1 together. They played quality basketball. It was not just about ISO winning games.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was all around greatness.
And it's, credit to the
Germany
coach.
also had tough games.
They
it's true. Barely won against Latvia.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm not saying that. Yeah, but I'm just saying maybe we are a little bit.
I can see your point, Gitz.
We're looking at the final standings instead of the overall picture a little bit too much, in my opinion. Anyways, is there anything I was just thinking, if Jamal Murray can play, you couldn't think of a better, at least worst case scenario, backup for SGA, and then if he's playing with him on the court, you take away some of the load off the ball for SGA. You have more options. So
that's actually what I would prefer. I don't want him, to join. He barely played in the friendlies. He might be hurt or not. I mean, and I think that they might make this decision, just put him out. Not to interrupt this flow that they managed to create last summer. I think that would be smart. You cannot take risks with Jamal Murray's uncertainty about where he will fit the team, fit his role, and how it will change the dynamics of the team. That's what I would do probably.
Right.
One last thing about Canada. I don't know if that matters, but for instance, when Team USA was traveling all around the world, during the preparation stage, what was interesting about Canada, that they spent all their preseason, basically pre-Olympic camp in France for 3 weeks. So they wanted to remain in the same area, not to change time zones too much, and just to focus on their preparation. So we'll see if that will help. Number 3?
Number 3 for us. Number 4 for you would be Serbia, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you started with the right thoughts of that they just have the best player on their team now that they didn't have last year. You could say the silver medalist of the World Cup just added the best player in the world, should be a clear favorite to maybe be second in this, but
does it really make Serbia better? In this video, we will analyze if Jokic makes Serbia better. No.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he does.
Yeah.
But he's not. That's the thing. He's not the man that Serbia's offense is run through. Like, it's still, Bogdanovic is still the guy in Serbia to be the scorer, to be the leader for me. And then Jokic is there as this selfless guy, as he is in the NBA. But I feel like in the NBA, just there's more possessions, more time. He gets the ball in the post and creates from there compared to Serbia. So I don't know. Does he make it? Does he make Serbia better? For sure. But what are your? They had 2 losses, but those in those games, I think both games Bogdan didn't play actually. Team USA won, and
they lost against Team USA by 25, and then there was no Bogdan there.
Yeah,
and
they lost.
I think someone else.
They were 3-2.
They lost.
They lost to Australia as well.
Australia also without Bogdanovic.
So I don't know. Can a defense with Nikola Jokic hold when teams are going to target you? Because in the Nuggets system, you have a system that's basically designed to Jokic be high on the floor and then for the rotations to work. And you have guys next to him, long, athletic forwards in Aaron Gordon. You know, you have Porter, you had KCP there, and
you got Petrushev, you got Jovic, you got Dobric. Come on, what's the difference?
See? Yeah,
you mentioned smaller court.
You mentioned
so
the
that
difference
helps as well.
I know, but
all these helps and stuff.
You know why
taking
I put them
risk on the
fourth?
3-point line.
You mentioned like the history and looking at their performances of these teams in the previous competitions. I didn't like what I saw from Serbia with Jokic and Micic at the Eurobasket 2022. That defense looked horrible, and
does it look any different now?
In my eyes, there are three main differences. First
Let's
of
go.
all, it starts from Svetislav Pesic, who is way more flexible than he was before when they were trying to build this winning team around Nikola in 2022. It starts from the game, from taking suggestions from Nikola, from making it less strict off the core and making it more, let's say, adjusting more to the players and their needs. And I think that we're kind of witnessing some of it on the game, because even though these were only friendlies, I loved the ball movement. In some cases, it looked like that they were overpassing the ball, just trying to make it like Brazil football national team did 60, 50 years ago with Pelé, trying to put the ball basically on the line to score the goal.
You watched football?
I've heard
60 years ago. 60 years ago.
60 years ago, I was a big fan of football. Today's football is too soft. So they have. So the number one reason was Pesic. Number two reason is that Micic is not having the same role. He's not handling the ball that much as he did in 2022 Eurobasket.
He's coming off the bench.
That's the interesting thing. Alexa Avramovic became their main point guard of the team, and I kind of like that fit because they already have Bogdan Bogdanovic. I mean, your backcourt is good with Bogdan. You have Jokic, and I love that Micic is okay. He's still playing with Nikola a lot of minutes, but he's more of a second unit primary ball handler and creator for the team, which is an amazing boost for the bench guys. So I think that this was helpful for them, to kind of find their best lineups and best fit on the core. So it was the reason number two.
Before you go to number three, I want just to comment on this. And I like that because you try to limit the minutes of Jokic and Micic together. Like Vasa is not in the best shape, it looks like, at the moment.
He was not playing for 3 months, so that's kind of understandable.
Yeah, so Alexei starting, he's a better defender. He can with Bogdan near him, he can just play defense, and when asked offensively to be great, he can do that. And then you have off the bench Vasa, and you limit the minutes, and maybe you try to improve your defense. And that is also a thing I like, because they are really trying to play aggressive defense to limit the opponents, really basically playing pick and rolls and attacking defenders. So you try to make chaos with their defense, and I like that, actually.
And let's remember, last year they had Stefan Jovic in their pretty much starting point guard position. This year they can allow themselves to have Micic off the bench. I feel like it's a major improvement if Micic gets into shape for the Olympics.
He will get better. I think he will get better. But
sure.
Even with him coming off the bench, they're good. And defensively, I think that they have more bodies and also more defensive-minded players in the 2022 Eurobasket. For instance, they didn't have Alexa Avramovic. Petrushev got improved from the defensive standpoint. They have Jovic. There is Dobric. So a lot of good bodies around Nikola. So I see an upgrade in these at least three areas. So I think that's kind of enough to make them number 3 in my power ranking.
That's fair.
Do you know why Kalinic is not playing, or he wasn't even invited? Or
I think he retired.
He retired from the national team? Okay.
I'm not fully aware.
I've read some rumors, but I don't want to speculate
You
on
cannot
those.
trust
Yeah.
Okay.
Serbian
Conspiracy
feed on
theories.
social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Chima Moneke and him going to one of the Serbian teams yesterday and not actually going today.
Just another day on social media
Right.
newsfeed. Just the last thing to add about
Yeah.
Nikola and his connection with the national team. I was told that national team basketball, national team experience for him is just like the form of relaxation. You know, that's something that helps to refresh his mind. And that's why Denver Nuggets shouldn't be concerned, you know, about their star playing there because
He's only going to play 60%. He promised Denver Nuggets.
Of
He's only
course.
going to put 60% of
I
effort.
think he's going to have some good time. And
No, I'm kidding, of course.
I heard that, you know, the chemistry inside the team is just perfect and he enjoys that a lot. And even though he didn't play in the last year's World Cup, and I even remember that there were questions in the official press conference suggesting that, hey, coach, but your team got better and maybe you don't need Nikola Jokic in the next year's Olympics. It wasn't like that. I mean, he was invited to celebrate the silver medal of the World Cup with the Serbian team players. They invited him, you know, to join the party. So they're all family. So that's another important reason. You know, it's not only about having star players on your team, but building chemistry on and off the court. And Serbian national team for Nikola is just a mental boost for the another NBA season.
Right. Yeah, it's now that we're talking, it's pretty crazy that I have Serbia with Jokic at the 4th position. It might be, and you know, I'm underrating them a little bit. Although, you know, I've said that, you know, this Germany, Canada, and Serbia trio is all pretty, you know,
Close, tight,
even close. But just it also shows you how big of a talent pool these Olympics are. So let's go to number 5. I think this is where it gets a little more interesting.
We might all have the same team. Well, let's see.
Can I mention
If you
just a
have-
few stats about Serbian team?
Yeah, of course.
Top 5 scores.
It's our
Jokic,
podcast, sorry.
yeah, Jokic 17.
You don't need to ask for permission.
Bogdanovic 16. Petrushev 13 points per game. Avramovic 10.4. Dobric 9.5. Good boost, good addition. Milutinov 8.5. Nikola Jovic 7. Although he played 2 games after the injury. Injury was kind of a concerning thing for them, you know, because they finally played their final roster basically in the last game against Greece, I think. So that was one of these, you know, drawbacks that they had. Okay.
Right.
Number 5, right?
Yeah, number 5.
I think we don't have the same team, and
We don't?
no, I don't.
Okay,
think
let's
so.
check.
Did you go against the people? The people...
Against the people.
yeah. The people of
What do
Greece?
you mean?
Did you
Oh,
go against the
Greece?
people?
Are you going to
five?
continue
No, I
disrespect
didn't.
Greece
I
on
didn't.
this podcast?
I went against the people of Greece.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't go against the people of Greece.
Oh, okay.
Greece number 5 for sure, guys. Malakas, what is this about? What is this organization?
Haven't you read all the comments
Guys.
about me being the biggest hater of Greece?
Guys,
You have
Apparently.
Serbia. Where do you have Serbia?
3?
3 or 2? I mean, if you would have Serbia at 2 and Greece at 5, then I would say you're just doing this to get all the great comments from the people.
Of course.
He's still doing it.
Exactly.
Where do you get this? Where do you have Greece?
At 6,
I have them at 6 too. So it's come on, guys.
which is more logical.
Don't go crazy now. Don't go
So,
crazy.
should we talk about the majority decision for number 5 or the minority decision?
No, but what do you have at the 5?
Australia.
Okay, I do have Australia as well.
Okay. So the
Okay.
majority decision is Australia.
Why did you pick Australia?
My notes are empty on Australia.
Okay.
Okay.
It's more about it's more about Greece.
The instincts. Your
No,
Australian
so
blood.
let's start with Augustus, why he picked 5th, and then I'll add my.
Initially, I actually had Australia pretty much lower, 7th or 8th, in before the friendlies even started. Just looking at the roster, you know, you have aging leaders, Patty Mills, Joe Ingles. There's no Matisse Tybal, but you know, I think some of the new guys have stepped in pretty well, and their friendlies. What I saw really showed me, you know, glimpses that they can be actually great. Patty Mills is Patty Mills. On FIBA, he's still super great. You know, his preparation, His body is at the highest level in his shape. Josh Giddey is looking way better when he has the ball in his hands and he doesn't have to stay in the corner and watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander go to work. So all of that, you know, and some NBA guys, Dyson Daniels, Josh Green, Duop Reith, they have a solid roster. I think those guys fit together well. They have a great coach as well. I think they are going to be a super fun team to watch, just like Germany. So in my eyes, they actually have the most potential from this group of 5th to 8th, this second tier that I have and that we have. I think Australia has the most potential from this second tier to actually surprise some people and get a medal. Like, I'm not talking about gold, but I'm saying like a bronze medal is still an Olympic bronze medal. It's a huge achievement, and I think they have a chance to actually do that if all the cards fall into the right places.
You don't need to explain what's the bronze medal in the Olympics is. They just got their first one in the last Olympics after chasing and being so close to getting any kind of a medal in the World Cups or Olympics. So it was a huge historical moment.
But it's going to be a little bit different team, you know, for them. It's not...
And different competition, I would say.
It's true. So, but as I mentioned, I just think I have them 5th. I think they surprised some people in the friendlies. I liked what I saw, and I think they have the most potential from the second group to actually get a medal because Greece, Spain, France, they are also in this category to me, but I just don't see those teams going so far in this tournament, and I'm sorry. What do you think about Australia? What are your instincts telling you?
My instincts? Well, you kind of described all my instincts.
Okay, so we go to Donatas.
Yeah, let's go to Donatas.
Why do you have Australia
actually
lower
just,
than Greece?
it was about the friendly games that if I'm being honest, it's about the friendly games, the results of them.
They won 6 of 8.
Yeah,
they had a tie
and the Team
against
USA
Japan.
was only a 6-point loss, and I watched that game actually, and it was a close game. I thought Australia had the chance to win there at the end. So, and I feel like they match up against them very well with their physical play, and they've been playing this type of basketball for years, and now they just, I feel like, have a lot of talent on the perimeter with the young guys, and I don't know, continuity again is the word of the day. I feel like it's still about continuity. The core of the team is there. Those are my instincts.
We have one guy who has Greece over Australia.
So now I'm a bad guy. I put
you're not a bad
Australia
guy.
number 6, and now
You're not a bad
like,
guy.
oh, how in the world you put Greece above them?
Hey, in my eyes, you're not a bad guy.
Too much of your eyes in this podcast today.
This is the phrase that you have mentioned a lot over the last year, so
I know. You should have addressed that at some point, you know. So I'm just, since I'm a good friend of yours and I consider you my good friend, so I'm telling you, you know, face-to-face facts.
Right.
I mean, I just don't think that Australia has it. They're good. They're nice. I love the way they play. I love the story of Patty Mills, his leadership, his experience, his game. He was still a top scorer of their team with 14.4 points. I love him next to Josh Giddey. He also had a good preparation with 14 points, 5 assists. He will be fine. And I love they are built for FIBA basketball. You know, they're a nice team, but these 4 teams above the top tier, they're just better. They're just super elite. Australia might be a dark horse, but I just don't think that they have it. And Greece has Giannis. So that's it to me. And that's the only thing that I'm missing in this Australia team. This elite star power. Yes, Giddey is great. Yes, Patty Mills in FIBA basketball, he's elite. But
FIBA Patty Mills.
Because of the FIBA, because of the competition in the Olympics, I just think that's
and also I guess
they're not there yet.
We got hyped after the qualifiers on Greece. I mean, quite a bit.
Yeah, because we saw
a
really quality material.
Yeah, the game itself.
Giannis is great, and the way Spanulis built a team around him was just excellent because they're not forcing the game through Giannis. They managed to click together around Giannis, and it starts not just with the things we saw on the court, but also off the court. I heard that Spanoulis set a clear tone. Giannis or nobody else, they have no exceptions. They're on the same page. Spanoulis keeps all these practices very intensive. He's very vocal. He's loud. He's hard. A lot of hard coaching over there. And they just accept and embrace the coaching because, it's Spanoulis. He's the legend.
It's the same as if we got Jasikevičius as our head coach of the national team.
Yeah, but we don't have Giannis figure. And Giannis was always Giannis' team. Yeah. And from what I see on the court and from what I heard off the court, it's Spanoulis' team. He set the tone and they embraced it and they look really good. They look really solid. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Greece from what I saw in the qualifiers and in this very tight group with Australia and some other teams that we will mention. I have it in Giannis. I have excellent coaching in Spanoulis and I have a fit. I have a great chemistry. So why not?
I had them at 5 actually. I now know why my Australia notes got
now
deleted.
You're changing your mind.
No, I had
right?
them at 5, and
but I saw your face. I think I kind of convinced you that
no. And then
you should put Greece.
I still got Greece at 6.
It's not the final power ranking. You can swap them.
It's not flexible. It's set in stone. Then I saw that they lost Kostas and Antetokounmpo. Maybe you would say, it's not a big loss,
It's still a loss.
But it's still quite a big loss for me, at least. Because it leaves you with Papagiannis. You got the young guy. We were trying to figure out how his last name is spelled before the podcast because he didn't play for Panathinaikos that much. Chukas.
Stop disrespecting Panathinaikos in this podcast.
You're the one who was disrespecting him. So
can you show the tape?
Yeah. Okay, we didn't. We weren't rolling.
We didn't.
Okay, now so one
I was showing a picture to the guys and saying, "Who is this guy?"
So
and they're
who
like,
were you in the room?
So you're Kazolas, right? You're the snitch, right?
I'm a snitch.
I never expected that we will hear word Kazolas on this podcast.
Yes.
That's a all-time low of this pod.
It is actually.
It's just the trend. It's just the trend in Lithuania these days, man.
But yeah, I guess
the world is not aware of what's going on in Lithuania. But let's
leave
not
it out of there. Yeah,
that's our business.
At least
let's keep it in our family. No Kazolas in this podcast. Okay, we're good.
No snitching. So that's why I thought maybe they'll put because I liked how they had Papagiannis, Giannis in the front line. In the qualifiers. Now we said maybe they'll play Giannis at center. Maybe they'll play Mitoglu at center. But that means that the lineups are going to change and the minutes are going to increase. Giannis was playing on a limited minute role in the qualifiers. I'm not sure was that intentional or not, but it wasn't. He could have played 30 minutes. He wasn't playing. It was enough not to play him. But the competition is going to be way higher. They're in that very difficult group. I like the chemistry, what you said about this team. Did you see, guys, that Giannis promised first to Papanikolaou that he's going to get everyone the signature shoe? And now I just saw that they got it for the whole team. So it seems like the vibes are there. And respect to the coach, respect to the legend, I'm not saying the players didn't respect the previous coach or anything, but there's an extra respect when you have legend of Greece in your team. So I like Greece for that, for all these reasons. Just that I'm saying they lost their backup center. Maybe now I put Australia higher, but the it factor is a good argument.
But a quick question: do you think Greece can get a medal?
I mean, it really depends on those knockout brackets, right? If they get favorable matchups and they don't meet USA until the semifinal.
But which is tough because you have to
think they're going
Canada in their group.
Do you
not
think
to face one of these powerhouses?
They even have to get out of the group. It's not a given. It's Spain. I mean,
Spain.
Spain needs no introduction.
Yeah,
it's going to be one or the other after that match. Canada and so
Australia.
To me, Greece are looking potentially at a solid tournament with little potential to surprise people getting a medal. But the questions are still the same for me with the Greece as always when Giannis is playing. Are they good enough defensively to match their limits offensively? And just as you mentioned, even if they get out of the group stage in the quarterfinal, what is the matchup? And can you hit the 3-pointers that day? Can you do that?
They did that in the qualifiers.
They did that, but they played
Papagiannis
Slovenia and
Coates.
Croatia, and those two teams are nowhere near the level of talent they're going to face in this tournament. Although
and neither of them are defensive teams.
Exactly. And although I see one advantage for them in the group stage, because they played the qualifier, and Spain also did, but they had a longer preparation as the other teams, and longer than Canada and longer than Australia. And I can see this as a little advantage because they already have had competitive games. They had to play the final. They had to, meet the pressure there. So this might be a slight advantage because they're playing in this tough group and every game is basically do or die there. You have to be on point from the first match. And I think maybe playing those qualifying games can help them initially.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Silence.
No, I just thought
Facts.
about it being the historical return for Greece after 16 years, right? Giannis holding the flag
They're
in the
going to be
opening
hyped.
ceremony. Dennis Schroeder will be there as well for Germany.
James.
Who else? Oh, LeBron. I would love to see Nikola Jokic, holding the flag.
Is it clear
He
who's going
could
to?
he could be on, how this chair called in the horse racing. He could hold it while riding the horse or whatever. That would be iconic,
He
right?
could actually
Wow.
participate in basketball and then in the racing, after.
But
Do we have
the ceremony is
horse
going
racing in the Olympics? Maybe in the next Olympics. Yeah, we have
They are
all
adding
these
new
kinds
sports.
of sports. Yeah,
But you know that the ceremony is going to take place on the river.
yeah.
So you imagine this horse thing on the
Damn.
boat
Oh, yeah,
on the river.
Horses
What
would
about
get-
banana boat for Team USA?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
No?
Wait. Okay, I know what you mean, but
That
Yeah.
would be iconic.
Let's just go
let's
to
leave
let's
leave that
number
aside.
7. Yeah,
There's connotations we don't want to get into. Donatas, what I love about SK Store
Tell
is
me.
that it let us support our favorite teams. Team USA,
I'm so proud
Greece, and France, right?
Yeah, I just said so many good things about France, and they immediately sent me the jersey. skstore.au doing their thing.
A lot of good stuff over there.
Not
can
only
get-
Little pass.
not only jerseys,
Not
they
only
have,
clothing, not only
they have
Balls.
More than-
basketballs. They have everything.
a lot of stuff on skstore.au, and
Yep.
they have some stuff that I was dreaming about. We were in this Adidas Treviso Eurocamp, and we were like jealous of these players wearing those great Adidas hoodies with basketball on their backs, and we were desperately trying to get them. We couldn't, and I remember with Ulyss, we were checking how we could get those hoodies, and apparently SK Store
Has them.
has them. It's crazy. They have a lot of crazy stuff. Retro NBA jersey. I mean,
it's-
national team jerseys. I mean, that's huge.
In Europe,
Shoes.
in Europe, there are not many stores, and in
yeah.
Europe, if you want to get something, for a good price or in the right sizes, it's difficult. But with SK Store, I mean, it's an online store that ships everywhere to Europe. All these jerseys we got from there as well. All these
That cap
NBA
that you
ones.
had, the
The
Brooklyn Nets,
Brooklyn
that
Nets
was
one,
probably
yeah.
from SK Store, right?
And there's
Trade secret. I'm not gonna tell you.
it's always during some kind of event of basketball.
Yeah.
There's always, I need some merch. I like this player. I like this team. I want to get their jersey. And people are always asking, where can I get this in Europe? And the SK Store is probably the best, the best place where to find it, because it has been always a super tough thing to do. And if you have already bought from them or you have checked them out, tell to friends, share to friends, because they're one of the few places where you can
Just
actually
check it out.
do that.
Yeah, check it out yourself, and you'll see what we're talking about. So that's skstore.eu.
Number 7.
Numero.
And by the way, we have 6 teams already.
Yeah.
Where is Wemby?
Yeah, where's
France?
Where's the most
Come on now.
talented French team? Not
You
ever,
said
but-
that.
Social media guys put all these posters with, look, they might have Rudy Gobert, Wembanyama,
They're
Joel
shit.
Embiid on their starting lineup. They will be stacked. They will be crazy good. They're what? They're
Scheiße. I feel like he said Scheiße.
No, they're terrible. They look terrible.
Yeah. And they never...
And they are not even number 7 on my list.
What? Wow.
Not 5, not 6, not
2,
7.
not 3, not 4, not 5, not 7.
Very not convincing, right?
But hey, do you want to talk about some number 7?
Yeah, let's...
And we probably all have the same team?
No.
I had France.
We have France. So let's talk about France. Let's talk about
go.
France.
You have 7. Go.
The most talented France at number 7.
The most talented, worst ranked team, probably.
Yeah. Actually, like you look at the names, you think, wow, this team is top 5 at least, just based on talent.
Okay, what names? Just Wemby?
No.
I mean,
Gobert,
Gobert at FIBA basketball
Fournier.
is great.
I mean, okay, maybe they're a bit aging.
If we're talking about
Koulibaly.
names, let's not pretend that they don't have names.
They definitely
Lazort
have.
is freaking best center in Europe.
Yabusele is
They
one
have
of these
names
names
at the same position.
That's another topic.
Yeah.
So
You
I
raised the
mean,
question about names. We brought you some names, bro.
Yeah, but
let's talk about the fit. That's
So-
the main issue.
Exactly.
Hey, we're not saying that. Come on, we don't have to advocate this France team as if we put them in the number 3 or number 2. Come on.
no, I'm not doing that.
The guy put them just one spot below, and he's like, "Oh, why you overrated for this France, or
No,
why
I'm
you
not-
rank this France that?"
I didn't say
high?"
that. I said that like, if you have 12 talented players in the same position, you don't have really a talented team. You have one talents in one
You
position.
have talented roster. Is that better?
No, you don't have a talented roster if you have good
If
players
you
in one
have
position.
a lot of talented players, how it's not a talented roster then?
If they're in the
Talented
same
list
position.
of the players that represents your team. Is that better? I don't know.
Because you can't play the same position in the same lineup. If you have 4 players that are, you have Wemby, but then you have 4 players who are way below his level in other positions, that's not a talented lineup on the floor.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it's just...
I'm not going to debate on that because I'm not France believer. So I came here not to praise them. I came there to complain about them actually.
Okay, let's go.
Because in the last
do
4
that.
friendly games, this team, they really suck offensively, and it's tough. And first of all, they had offensive issues in the last few competitions. They failed in the World Cup, and even in the Eurobasket 2022, we didn't enjoy their basketball.
although they made it to the final.
They made it to the final. There were a lot of miracles with Turkey, with Italy, and I'm not saying that they didn't deserve, but their game, in my eyes, especially watching these 6 teams that we listed higher, we probably all agree that we enjoy watching their game. There's a lot of quality.
The
most
6
of these
teams,
the flow of their game all around is just excellent. With this team, there's one clear, problem: offensive flow. And now on this team that had problems offensively already, you add Victor Wembanyama and you try to play Rudy Gobert and Wembanyama together. What do you get? In the last 4 friendlies against Australia, Canada, Serbia, and Germany, they averaged 72 points, but on 41 field goal shooting percentage, 68% shooting frees. Evan Fournier is complaining about the offensive problems that they have. They find it really hard to find any kind of a flow, to make shots, and to kind of utilize the star power that they have in their front line. The Colo is declining. He's not in a great shape, preparing for the competition. Fournier didn't have a lot of basketball, in the last 2 seasons in NBA. So, and the other guys that they have in their backcourt, they're more of a defensive-minded. And defensive potential is actually crazy. That's something that might take them higher than we all see, before the competition, because you can put the lineup with, Wemby, Gobert, Batum, Cordinier, Nilikina, Lazor. A lot of great defenders. But is that enough?
Who's creating there? Like, you're depending on a 37-year-old asphalt player who's really...
No, you are depending on Wembanyama offensively to make something happen.
Well, you are, but your main point guard is De Colo, and then behind him are guys who are role players in EuroLeague teams or even Eurocup teams, and...
But Nando's not even playing. Like, he played 12 minutes in friendlies. That's the reason. Like, Matthew Strozell was starting.
And Strozell is good, actually. Strozell is actually good.
But point being, they always had a guy to create before. Like Tony Parker was the guy, right? And now it seems like at the moment they just don't have that guard who can create.
Yeah,
I feel like that's where it comes down. Like
for now, they don't have like there's some guys that are growing, but talking about like, this team, the guy we saw, but the gap between the front court and the back court is just ridiculous, and I would question their system as well, the way they want to play.
That's another topic, right?
They're spacing, like if you're looking Germany one game and then you look France the other game, and you're like, what is this? This is like 30 years of difference between basketball. Like the way they're playing is like 1990, and the way the Germans are is 2024. And I don't know. It's a lot of ISO basketball. The scheme for Wemby, the scheme for Gobert. Evan Fournier is looking at Rudy Gobert posting up and shooting fadeaway mid ranges. Is just everything about France is weird, and definitely we're going to see a lot of Wemby highlights just because he's a freak and an alien playing basketball. But I don't think they can go far with the way they are constructed. It's just Matthew Strazel starting, playing 17 minutes, 4 points on 25% shooting from the field, 2.4 assists, 1.8 turnovers. Just is not going to cut it. So,
although with all these problems, they're still not that far. For instance, they lost to Germany by 5 without Wembanyama and scoring only 50% from the free throw line. They lost to Canada by 12, but they gave 25 points off 20 turnovers. That's also another problem that comes with the backcourt creators. They turned the ball over too much. They lost
18 turnovers.
They lost to Australia by 1, but again, 24 points off 20 turnovers. So
they also lost to Serbia, I think.
A lot of turnovers, no offensive flow. That's a huge issue. But hey, still, they have Wemby. They have a lot of other players, and especially defense.
I mean, we're still rating them at 7, so it's not like...
Yeah, and we put them in the same second tier list, probably.
I don't know. I wouldn't be that surprised if they're 3rd in their group.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Brazil or Japan can overcome?
I would be surprised.
I think
that's not a
there's a
surprise. That's very interesting.
I mean, last year they definitely surprised us. So yeah.
So you picked Spain for number 7, and we picked them
have it
number
at
8.
Yeah.
Right.
Who wants to start about Spain? I don't know. I don't have much written on Spain. It's just Spain knows how to play basketball. This team has won basically the Eurobasket 2 years ago. They didn't look the best in the qualifying tournament, but they looked better in their last friendly games. I think they are on the rise. They know their system. They have been together. We know what to expect from them. It's not the most hyped team that Spain has ever sent out to the Olympics or any tournament, but they're still going to do their thing. And is it going to be enough to win a medal? I don't think so, but they're still going to be
But they're going to be competitive.
For
in
sure.
all of their games, they will be
sure.
competitive. I mean, well coached, excellent coaching, chemistry. They built this chemistry in these last competitions. They know how to win close games. That also comes from the experience. And Rudy Fernandez, the historic 6th Olympic Games for the guy, the record breaker. I like the kind of a versatility of their team. Like you have Willie Hernan Gomez, who can score a lot of points, get a lot of rebounds. Then you put Usman Garuba, Santi Aldama, I think is a huge boost for their front court. Lorenzo Brown showed that he can step up in big games as he did against Bahamas. You can always expect Rudy Fernandez turning the momentum of the game at some point in the 3rd or the 4th quarter. They got Alex Abrinas and Juancho Hernan Gomez back from their injuries. And as you mentioned, they're on a rise. And I mean, they might surprise. I think that they might be considered as sleepers because they have these tools that are needed for these short-term competitions to surprise and to get the best result, even though they might lack of some star talent or whatever.
You forgot one name. Donatas.
The main scorer, Sergio Huey.
Well, who else then?
Alberto Diaz, another game changer. Yeah,
Exactly. I don't know. It's just to not mention him.
FIBA Alberto Diaz is one of our favorite FIBA players.
I just want to shout him out and mention him when you're talking about Spain team.
Yeah.
Such a fun player to watch.
Also remember last year that they didn't have Lorenzo Brown and they managed to lose the game against Canada, which was do or die for them.
Good point.
By 3 points. That was a very close game. And
this Canada hater is right at this point.
He got some facts.
2022, they won the Eurobasket.
Exactly.
With Lorenzo Brown. I mean, maybe I'm now a bit more in the camp of Augustus putting them at 7 and then France at 8.
Okay.
But this is the thing. It's their group. The group they're in, I feel like that's why we are looking at them like the underdogs of that group. Which is, it just says how crazy that group
weird
is.
To even say it.
That group is insane, honestly.
I will want to hear your predictions. Who is going to be fourth on that group?
I mean, so based on this power ranking, it's Spain.
It's Spain, right?
Because we got them last.
Probably.
Which is, I feel like we're gonna eat our words.
Insane.
We might eat our words with Spain. Spain is always
Spain.
Always we look at Spain and say, oh, there's not that many names anymore. But then they go and
the guy is retired, so he's not going to come to that room.
But like they won Eurobasket, they looked great last year. I mean, in the group stage they were amazing, and then they just lost that game against Latvia, I think, and then they lost against, or they won against Latvia. I don't remember exactly, but they lost against Canada in the quarterfinals, I believe. So I don't know. I feel like they'll make us eat our words again one more time. So
no, Canada played against Slovenia in the quarterfinals.
So then it was the second. They didn't make
the playoffs.
The second group stage thing. Yeah.
So the bottom tier, right? That we're starting.
Yeah, I think.
So who's your best the bottom team?
I'll go with South Sudan.
Oh, okay. A team that we probably before one friendly game we would have ranked 12. Now you put at 9. Or wouldn't you have ranked them at 12 before they played the USA? I'm saying because they played the USA. Now you're
and I can say that Augustus won't agree with you.
Last year in the Lithuanian podcast, I said that you shouldn't be about South Sudan before the World Cup. Like everybody was like, "Oh, South Sudan, who's even playing there?"
We'll get that win, like as Lithuania.
What's actually South Sudan, because this is probably the youngest nation in the world.
Exactly.
They were like, they got this, country. I don't know how it even, how it happens when you start a country, when you get independence
from Sudan, Republic of Sudan.
2011. That's crazy. Guys on this team are basically older than their actual country. So I mentioned huge story.
So I mentioned, I think, Dominican Republic and South Sudan last year before the World Cup as these kind of like, they might have some surprises. And I think they have length. They have insane athleticism. They have guys who played in good teams. Like, Carlick Jones had an NBA chance. Winian Gabriel. You have JT Tor. You have other guys.
Mariel Shayok.
Exactly.
One of the guys.
He had a chance in the EuroLeague. So it's not like they don't have great players. I think their athleticism is going to be like, if you play against them, it's going to be annoying. They are lengthy. They are quick. It's hard to play against those teams to any European team,
especially.
So
it's not like even Serbia will have an easy night against them.
Yeah.
It's not a given, I'm saying.
It's not a given, exactly.
Yeah.
So they impressed me against the USA, although they made so many shots. So
yeah, if they make their shots and have that gritty defense that's really annoying, because I saw that the American guards were a bit, they weren't sure what's happening. A lot of deflections, a lot of steals, even on the half court. I feel like they're more dangerous than we ever expected.
American guards.
All
NBA level guards you're talking about here. So Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, and others.
And this athleticism, I had them at 10. So I had Brazil before them.
I have them 11th.
Okay.
Again, I don't see a big difference between these 9th, 11th teams. I think Japan is maybe, is a clear bottom team to me. Just there's a few facts about Sudan because we have to also embrace the story of this Sudan. There was a fun fact by Tim Reynolds. He mentioned that LeBron, KD, Steph, and Drew Holiday already had almost 30,000 NBA points between them before South Sudan actually became independent.
That's crazy.
And this is a team assembled and made up of refugees. A lot of guys like Vinny and Gabriel. His family fled to Egypt when he was only 2 weeks old and later moved to New Hampshire, a sanctuary, Nuni Omot, he was born in Sudanese refugee camp in Kenya before moving to Minnesota. A lot of bad stuff is happening in their country, so that's for sure one of the biggest, brightest things that happened in South Sudan history, and having their basketball team making the Olympics after they actually made their debut appearance in 2021 Afrobasket. They made it to the World Cup last year, and now they made it to the Olympic Games. So that's just huge. And Luol Deng, who also fled early in his early days with his family, he started this program of South Sudan basketball, and he was already taking care of his basically country when he was still playing in NBA, arranging a lot of camps. Some guys from these camps actually now play on this national team. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. And the best thing is that it's not only about the beautiful story, but the level they can display in the Olympics. So it's a team to watch. If you don't have your national team in the competition, that's the team to support actually in Paris.
Yeah, because I think Wendy and Gabriel said after one of the games, we don't have an inside court in our country. Like, think about these guys. They're fighting for such a bigger purpose than a lot of these other teams that have been in this elite basketball scene for a while. For them, this is like, I remember Royal Ivy, their head coach, after the World Cup, when they knew that they made the Olympics, he was having an emotional moment. And I can just now imagine what it would mean for them to even make it out of the group stage. Which, their group, they have Puerto Rico. If you beat them by a lot of points and you do
stay
well,
close,
it's possible. So, yeah, I agree. This is the fairy tale story. I want them to succeed. I got them at 10, but I wouldn't be surprised them making the 8th, the top 8, because this, as we said, this is not about final standings. One of those teams from Group A is not going to make it, so we'll see. No, from Group A we got 4 teams in the top 8,
right.
So,
and even maybe 2 won't make it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. So, who do you have at 9 then? South Sudan
at 9 and Brazil at 10.
I picked Brazil because I just love the way they played in Latvia and the qualifiers. I like the roster. I like Kabalkla, their center, and he was playing elite, I would say. Of course, it depends on what kind of Iago dos Santos we will see in the competition.
Neto is going to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's confirmed.
We're not sure of the level he will be able to perform at, but that's huge for Brazil. That's great. I love their forwards and Leo Mendel and some other names that I forgot, but I just thought that it was a nice fit. They have this chemistry, they have continuity, so I like Brazil over these other teams.
Yeah, I think we have talked enough about Brazil after they won the qualifying tournament. I enjoyed seeing them there, but
they play fun basketball. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, they play really fun basketball.
They play fun basketball. It's nice to watch, but at the same time, I don't see much of an upside here in these Olympics. I just don't think they have. You mentioned Greece have it with Giannis. I don't think Brazil has it with
they have the Brazilian Giannis, Bruno Caboclo. Come on, man. Or Brazilian.
He's 2 years away of 2 years away being Giannis. But
still, just needs to work on his body a little bit more.
Yeah. So, but
we're talking about bottom ranked teams, so they don't have it. That's obvious. So that's why they list them out there. So I have Brazil 9,
And then you
Puerto
got-
Rico 10th,
Oh, okay.
South Sudan 11th, Japan 12th. Do you have anything to add about Puerto Rico? You became the fan of Puerto Rico.
I became a fan of Puerto Rico. Then I saw that they lost both friendly games. They lost one by a lot. One of those
Against Spain, probably?
Against Spain
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. So I mean, I realized that in Puerto Rico, when I watched them beat Lithuania, when I watched them beat Italy,
With this crowd that
I
they had.
realized they played very favorable matchups there. Slow European teams that couldn't contain the two guards. And now I realize that they're going to play against the African team, South Sudan, who's going to have athleticism and speed to contain those guys. And they're going to play against USA and Serbia, elite team. So that's why I'm not as hyped anymore. I don't feel like the 2-3 guards can make a big difference when we gonna see them face these bigger teams with front lines, with forwards who can score. Like they just had such a favorable
Right.
now retrospectively thinking Lithuania and Italy, they were very favorable matchups, and I feel like Puerto Rico now I have them at 11. Not
Me
that.
too. I have them at 11th, and the thing that I'm most waiting from Puerto Rico is in these Olympics is the game Puerto Rico versus the United States. There are going to be so many highlights from that game on social media. It's going to be crazy. You'll see. It's going to be 123 to 95 maybe or 89. It's going to be super high scoring game. Transition points is going to be like 35 to 32 points after turnovers, but I don't expect much more from that.
Unless they get really hot against like Serbia somehow, and then I don't know. But I don't see it. I don't see that they can do more than just a surprise win against someone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're gonna go either 0-3 or 1-2 at best, but I doubt it.
What do you think about Japan, my new most favorite market in the basketball world?
No, it is for you. Yeah.
You finally addressed it, guys. You heard it here first.
Hey.
Japan is
the engagement,
future.
man. The
Japan
engagement.
is future.
The engagement, man.
I mean, Japan was a fun team to watch last World Cup.
Exactly.
And they didn't have Hachimura then.
They have the Japanese Steph Curry. They have Hachimura. They have
Yuta
Yuta Watanabe.
They have the
Josh
the
Hawkinson.
two Yukis, Togashi and Kawamura. Those guys are the 5'7" guys.
They make some great thumbnails. Heart over height.
They have this guy
pretty
who
much the best
signed
video.
a two-way deal, right?
we have.
Casey
signed-
Taminaga,
Yeah.
the Japanese Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who shot 1 of 10 in one of the friendly games. But shoot or shoot, man. So
we.
Hey, let's show some respect to Japan basketball because they're coming from Asia, and we were kind of all, China was always a lock for Asia, and we were talking about Yao, the potential that they have. They have this league. A lot of investments were made to create more Yaos or whatever. But Japan made it the second Olympic Games in a row. They have a program. They make big investments in their local league, which is also huge. Why they have more and more competitive Japan national team. Fun fact about their head coach, Tom Hollis, was actually up until 2021, he coached only in women basketball. And he raised the level of women national basketball team of Japan. They won silver in the last, that's a fun fact actually, in the last Tokyo Olympics, he won silver with Japan women basketball team. So now he's trying to build some kind of a program with the men basketball in Japan. He's American, but he speaks Japanese. He knows the culture very well, so it's an interesting combination. Again, I love the way they build up this B League in 2 years. The plan is, or even for the next season, they will have 8 million for player salaries at least. And in 2 years, a lot of new big gyms are building up. Their attendance numbers are increasing, and in 2 years, they might have a draft. So it's going to be a very exciting league to watch. We already have some EuroLeague players playing over there. It's not only about our guy Gudaitis or Ben Bentel who was there. Johannes Timon, not Voigtman, but Timon went there, although he had a really great year at Alba Berlin. So yeah, watch out for Japan.
And
even in this tournament against Brazil, I think they have chances. And
they won against Finland in the World Cup, and they were.
And one win might be enough to qualify for the quarterfinals.
Exactly.
So
I mean, watch out for Japan.
Japan to even be here in the Olympics is already a big thing. But if they get one win in the group stage, they get a little bit luck of the point difference. They might be in the quarterfinals, and that would be huge for their basketball community.
The worst thing is, because the Olympic content cannot be used by anyone, we will miss out.
From right holders.
We will miss out on about 2 million views this summer.
Ouch! But still, we're about to create a lot of content on Basket News.
We're going to do a podcast for sure.
Best time to join Beyond Plus community on basketnews.com/plus, because Todd returns. We will do
Give Me Control episodes.
Rytis hopefully will come back for the next podcast.
Guys, €5 donation from someone, and Rytis comes back.
Yeah, if we get 1,500 Beyond Plus subscribers by the start of the Olympics, Rytis will return.
If you pay,
that's the deal. If not, I mean, he's gone.
If you pay €90 into my account by tonight, Rytis will come back.
50 subs.
I'm going to Paris tomorrow. Jonas Miklo was joining me, and although we won't be able to shoot a lot of videos from Olympic areas, we will still try to share our impressions on blogs and articles. You'll get quotes, a lot of stuff over there. So join PM Plus community on basketnews.com/plus. Thank you all for watching. It was great. It was a pleasure to have this podcast with you guys. See you after the Olympics. Or
after the Olympics.
During the Olympics, I will join you on Zoom or Riverside. But I mean,
in real life.
In real life. Like with Rytis, because you never know.
Okay. Thanks for watching.
Okay.